Okay. We're holding on Mem Zayin Mem Beis. It's the last quarter or third of the page. Mem Zayin Mem Beis. Name it Katanoi. The Gemara says it seems that Rav's position in Mekadosh Milva in Kodesh is a machlokes tanoim. So until now, whatever we present, we said that's not it. That's their argument is not Rav's statement. They're arguing something else. Hiskachli b'shtar chov. A man goes and says to a woman, "I want to marry you with this loan document." Hiskachli b'shtar chov. O shoyelo milva b'yaracherim. He had a loan document where a third party owed him money. Meaning he's selling v'hirsha aleim, and he gave the person permission to collect the debt that a third party had owed him. Right? He sold paper, a document which represented a loan which he lent to a third party. So we have two cases here. First he said shtar chov, a loan document, or it was milva b'yaracherim, or a debt that was a third party had owed him. V'hirsha aleim, and he gave permission to the woman to collect with that document. Go ahead. Let's read the Gemara. Let's read the Gemara. Okay. Rameir Omim Mekudeshes. Rameir says she's married. Okay, so Rameir there's no chiddush, as you're saying. Chomam Einu Mekudeshes. She's not married. So evidently, if she's not married, that means Rameir says Mekudesh. There is a chiddush. Because otherwise, what's the basis? Evidently, there's a basis for disagreement. No, but if you understand the side of the Chachomim, then you appreciate why Rameir says it's Mekudeshes. Okay? You know, you ever heard the expression, I see said the blind man. Okay? Exactly. Hai shtar chov heicher davi. Okay. The shtar chov, we have two cases. Either he mekadosh b'shtar chov, or shtar chov di acherim, shel acherim. Right? A debt that a third party had owed him. Ile mishtar chov di acherim. Is it a shtar chov, a document representing a debt that a third party owes him? Hainu milve b'yaracherim. That's the second case. Right? He's marrying with a document. He had lent a third party money. He's the lender. Now he's giving the woman that document that she has the ability to collect that debt. Right? So that's definitely Mukudeshes. So what's the first case of shtar chov? Elalav shtar chov dido. He originally lent the money. It was a documented loan, and he had the document which she had given him. Now he's returning the document to her. He says, "I'm marrying you with this document that I'm giving you, representing the debt that you owe me." And Rameir says Mukudeshes, and the Chacham say ain't Mukudeshes. Evidently, what's the machlokas to Rameir and the Chachamim? Mekadosh b'milva Mukudesh, not Mukudeshes. According to Rameir, Mekadosh b'milva is Mukudeshes. According to Chacham, ain't Mukudeshes. Or Mekadosh b'milva k'miflgei. Which one? The first one or the second? Yes. Okay, we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that. We're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it. It's a question. It's a question. According to Rameir, if the aspect is shtar chov di acherim, a document that a third party owes him money, and he's the lender, takes that document, gives it a document, Rameir says Mukudeshes. So if it's its value on the market, right, which there it's definitely its value, right? What is its value? What it's worth on the market. If that's that, so what's the difference between the two cases? It's repeating the same case. So evidently it's what? It's what you're giving her. It's not the value of the document on the open market. Its value, it's what you're giving her. What are you giving her? The debt that you owe me. When I return this, now let's talk, okay? We had said earlier, everybody's in agreement. If the coins don't exist any longer, right? The whole argument, Mekadosh Mukadeshes, we spoke, the coins were still intact. So the question is, because she's receiving the coins, those coins, do we see it as his coins or her coins? Right? But if, let's say, the money was expended, everybody agrees, it says, V'nosan-lo, kikach ishisho, kicho, he has to give her something. What did he give her? So, if he's mekadosh b'hanos mechilas milveh, I'm marrying with the value of waiving the debt. So there he's quantifying what he's giving her. Everybody agrees, the mekudeshes. I know the value, what would you pay for the debt to be waived? Okay? So we're not speaking about that case, right? Because even Rav agrees, mekadosh b'hanos mechilas milveh is mekudeshes. So you're being mekadosh with the debt, with the money that you owe me. But he's not giving her that money, right? He's not giving her that. So what is even the consideration that she should be married, even according to her mayor? I mean, so what is the position of the Mekadosh Mukudeshes? It's not even a consideration, correct? No, I'm just saying, we're saying Rameir is of the opinion Mekadosh Mukudeshes. What's the case? If the money doesn't exist, so everybody should be in agreement. It's nothing. If the money exists, then we could talk, right? So he's returning the document to her. So what's returning the document? Evidently, return the document means I'm willing to forego that, even though the money may be mine until now, but when I give you the document, it's a statement saying the money you have, you could keep. Right? That's what it is. Otherwise, what's the argument? If the money was spent, he's giving her nothing. He's just what? He's relieving her of the debt. So we said that's the equivalent of Mavri Hari. There's a line upon her, he removes the line. What is he giving her? He's not giving her anything. He's not Mekadosh with the value. What would you pay to remove the lion? That's Mekadosh Hanos Mechilas Milveh. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But so then, what's the difference between the two cases? That's Mekadosh. That's what's the difference between her own document or a third party's document? So then it's redundant. So evidently, it's not because she could sell. We'll discuss that in a moment. Why selling the document is different, whether it's her document or a third party's document. Okay? Right, so evidently we're not treating. Evidently it's not the monetary value of the document, what it's on the open market. Right, it's market value. Let's say in a moment. So that Gemara says, L'olam shtarchov da'acherim. I'll tell you the shtarchov is speaking about, it's not the money that she owes, the document she had given, and he's returning the document to her. We're speaking about the loan document of a third party. So what's the difference between the two cases, right? Because we spoke about two cases. Shtar chov, then it says, milva b'yaracherim. So he says, L'olam shtar chov da'acherim. V'ocha b'milva b'shtar u'milva apekomifli. They're arguing two cases, Rameir and the Chachomim. The first case is speaking about, it's not her loan document, it's third party's loan document. Mekadesh, with that document, Mekudesh and Mekudeshes, which we'll discuss in what the argument. Another argument, what about it's a milva? It's undocumented. A loan that's owned by a third party, to a third party, undocumented, and he goes and he gives her that, the right to collect that. One is documented, one is undocumented. Okay, that's the difference. Let's see Tosas, then we'll discuss this about what exactly. Why, when you give her, the Gemara understands, Mekadish b'shtar dido. If it's her document, it's Ein Mekudeshes. Acherim it is. So let's take a look at Tosas. Tosas asked the question. Lolam shtar chov da'acherim, al v'shtar chov dido. But if it's her document, Ein Mekudeshes. Vim tomar, maishno, what's the difference? V'yi divido milvi, he's giving her something, a value. It's the milveh. The document represents the debt. The shloma devari milveh dido shekonoso kvar eno nosin lo shum dover chodosh shrei osam amos hoyu shelo kodem kiddushin. Dinu deinu b'kudeshes. Yeah, that when she marries her with the document which represents the money she already had received. So in her mind, what is she receiving? She's receiving nothing new. And everything regarding kiddushin is based on the intent of the person. Let's say she would, when she receives a document, she would have in mind, everyone would have in mind, the benefit of I don't have to repay the debt. Then everybody would agree Shmul Kodeshes. That's the Kul V'Hanos B'Chil Smilva. But when a woman receives the document, what does she have in mind regarding her own debt? I'm relieved. I'm relieved of the debt. She doesn't process it. I could sell it on the open market. What's its value on the open market? Her mindset is, I'm relieved of the money that I already received, that I don't have to return that money. If that's the case, what are you receiving? Being relieved is not, he's giving her nothing. Okay? If she could now, let's say, I'm going to explain it differently in a moment. So therefore, if that's her mindset, she's receiving nothing. But when she receives the loan document of a third party, what's her mindset? She's receiving nothing. It's not being relieved of something. She's being given something which she didn't have before. Right? Although the milva doesn't exist in cash, right? But he's giving her an object which gives her the right to collect. That itself has value. She's receiving something has value. But regarding herself, how does she process it? She's receiving nothing. He's giving her nothing. It's only the document which gives him the right to collect from her. Okay? So therefore, she doesn't see she's being relieved. If that's her mindset, she's being relieved. That's what he's giving her. He's giving her nothing. You have to articulate. So unless the Makadesh, the husband articulates and verbalizes, I'm marrying you with the value of the debt being waived, she's Ein B'Kodeshes. Yes. Let me tell you the difference. You can differentiate between cases. Whether she values it or not, I don't need the shirt. I don't need the shirt. But what are you accepting? You're factually accepting something. To you and to everybody, it is. That you accepted evidently means you're valuing what you're accepting. You accepted something of value. There the value is intrinsic value. A shirt, that's intrinsic. The shirt has intrinsic value, right? I'll give you an example. The Gemara says, in terms of Shvua Doraisa, Einish Bon Al Kakos. Okay, that's Gzeres HaKosov. If it's regarding, if we disagree, I said I gave you 2 trees, you say you only gave me 1 tree, as a shomer. Lo Rabbi Miktas, Einish Bon Al Kakos. The law of Shvua doesn't apply only to something which is immovable. So it has a shayla, not a shayla. La halacha, we rule. What about a star? It's Einish Bon Al Shtoros. Why? Because you need davra metaltel v'gufo mamon. You need something which is movable, and it has intrinsic value. A document, it only represents money. Its value is not dependent upon its essence. It's only because what it represents. Wait a second. Let's talk with, I'm quoting a Gemara, a Brisa, okay? It's a star, you need davra metalta for shua, davra metalta v'gufo mamon. What does the meaning of gufo mamon? Its value is based upon its intrinsic essence. It's not because it represents something else, okay? So therefore, even though you could sell it on the market, but why does it have value on the market? Only because it has the ability that you're able to collect something else with it. Any other...
There's no step. You don't have to go to court to get it enforced. It's immediately enforced. Is that how you explain it?
Evidently, I'm not explaining it that way. Because there are issues. There's a whole question about pidyon haben, right? Could you use a dollar bill, right? Could you use that as pidyon haben? Because shaveh kesef, we learned in the first parak for pidyon haben is kesef shaveh kesef, right? Money or something of value. So it says a bearer of this at one time when it was silver certificate, right? With that document, you go to the treasury, they will give you silver worth $1. That's what they'll give you. So $1 itself is really, it's a document representing something else. That's all it is. So I'm saying, even though you could buy $1 worth of whatever else with it, but they're only accepting it, but it itself is not, it doesn't have that intrinsic value. That's makadosh b'shtar. So for pidyon haben, shtar is not valid. No, kesef is not shtar. Kesef is not shtar. Kesef is, its value is based on its intrinsic worth, not because you could do something with it. People will, because the government will give you $100 worth of value for it. See, a chair is its value is inherent, intrinsic in its what it is. A chair, a shirt. When you give the woman a shirt, you've given her something which is worth a pruta. Whether she values or doesn't value, you've given her something, whatever it may be worth. A document itself, it's only, even on the market, they're only giving you the value because they're able to do something with it. Besides, it's usually discounted. That's another problem, which they speak about. You makadosh a woman with a $100 document, loan document. Are you marrying with $100 or with something worth $80? Right? Because in the market, you're not getting $100 for a $100 document. It's going to be discounted. But at least there she understands that. When a woman receives a document, whatever it says in the document, she understands I'm receiving something at a discounted rate. Discounted. Right? The way she sees it, I'm receiving, I'm being relieved. A person who owes money, when I receive that document, the way she processes it, I'm being relieved of my debt. I'm being relieved of my debt. That's the way she sees it. It's a means of collection, but in regard to, on a personal level, it's a means of relief.
Or she could see it as, I'm getting $1,000 so I can pay back this debt that I have.
Still, you don't have to pay it back if you're relieved. You don't have to. You're not getting anything. You're not relieving anything. The government relieves you of a tax bill. What does that mean? That means you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay the tax. The money that you have in your pocket is going to remain in your pocket. The money in your pocket was always your money. It remains to be your money. That's being relieved of a debt.
Person forgives another person, which is what we're talking about here. It creates a taxable event.
Okay.
So the government looks at what happened here, no differently than if you receive cash or not. That's the way it is.
Of course, that's called capital gains.
Not capital gain. She has to pay tax.
I know, but it's the same. It's the same idea. It's the same idea. I understand. I'm only using that term. I'm only using that term.
That term means something else.
Okay. Okay.
She received
It's income. That's income. Yeah. Okay. Has nothing. That doesn't make a difference.
So she received. I would say it's income. It's no different than if a man gets cash out of his pocket and puts it in the bank. She received income.
So if she thinks about the tax liability, she's just the opposite. She's not getting anything. You know, some people say, you know, it's not worth my while because, you know. I understand.
40 cents in the dollar instead of 100 cents.
But factually, she's not receiving anything. Something has to be transferred. What's being transferred? Right? If now because of that, everybody's aware of that. If everybody's aware of that, I see myself benefiting at this moment. So the pleasure is whatever it is, deducting the tax liability. Right? If a gift of 100 is worth 80, so you're right, and everybody is aware of that, and everybody, the way they think, I'm receiving the benefit, the value of $80, then she's Mukadeshes. But that's not the way most people's minds work. Regardless of what the law of the land is, but that it has to be the way the person thinks. What am I receiving?
Ultimately, when that person is sitting with their accountant at the end of the day,
Okay,
if they don't declare that income,
okay,
it's tax evasion.
okay, okay.
It's a bigger, I just wonder if the Chazal were there, as I understand,
Could be a gift. When you give someone, it's a gift. Why is that to be taxable?
it's a taxable in this country. The gifts are taxable in this country. There are rules about gifts. You give somebody more than $10,000 every day is taxable.
Okay, let's go. Okay, we're getting off on a tangent.
If he gives her the start that's for her loan, and if it has value on the market, she's not mikadeshes. Is it because that if she gives it back to the market, now she is indebted again? Like, meaning like if she goes and takes that star and it's her own loan, she's selling.
No, but she's able to sell. Doesn't make a difference. But but even though she's the debtor, but she's getting money for it.
But she now owes more than she got. So there's not.
No, she doesn't owe more. She owes less. She owes less.
Because the star is always going to be discounted.
No, so she understands what its value is. Let's say it's $100 documents. If her husband collects it, he gets $100 from me. When I sell it on the market, she's going to get $80 for it. So it's worth $80.
Right. She sells it
Or
for
$50.
Then they can come and
Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a
That's not
difference.
in consideration.
No. Okay. Let's go further. What's the machlokes? If it's milva she'ar acher, why should she not be married? Plukte de Rebbe Rabbanon kamifli de Tanyo. Osi sniknes b'mesiro divrei Rebbe. Rebbe holds that if you have a loan document, just by transferring document from one party to another, the party that receives the document receives the right. See, again, when you transfer a document, what are you transferring? A paper. What is the paper? Do we see that paper because of what it represents, as if I'm transferring an asset, right? Which is what it represents. So if that's the case, as when I transfer an item, an object, the one who takes possession of an object, now he's taking possession of something of value. He owns that object. Or when I transfer a document, although it has writing on it, it's not sufficient. The paper belongs to the recipient. The question is, what about the debt that's written on that? Does that belong to the recipient? That's the Machlokes Rebbe and the Chachomim. No, it is. It's Mashiach. You're acquiring it. Because getting back to the same idea, because there's nothing intrinsic in the item. There's nothing intrinsic. See, I give you a chair, a garment. I'm transferring what I'm transferring. Here, I say, you know something. The transfer could say, you know, I'm transferring you the piece of paper. No, I'm explaining to you. I'm explaining to you. The debt is owed to. The debt is owed to the lender. The lender says, you know, when I gave you the paper, I never intended to give you the debt. I intended to give just the paper. No, let's say he's an honest debtor. He's an honest debtor. Who'll pay me? So what did I transfer? I transferred a piece of paper. Therefore, ein mukadeshes. According to Rebbe, no. When a person gives the paper, the intent is without a question. It's the paper and what the paper represents. Therefore, osi sniks b'sira. It's enough just to give the paper. Chamon bein shekosav v'lo mosar. Let's say he writes a document. That he writes in the document, I'm transferring the document. Transferring the document. Here's a document that he's transferring the document. Bein shemosav v'lo kosav. Or he just gave the document and did not write another document. Lo kosav, lo kono, achi yichtov v'yimsor. You have to do two things. You have to give the original document. In addition, you have to write a document that you're transferring the rights to use that document. Otherwise, any mukadeshes. So what's the reason? Because let's say you write a document. I'm writing a document to give you the right to use the document. You don't give that original document. Now, a star. Could you transfer metaltal with a star? A star, you can only transfer a karka with a star. It has to be fixed property. So it comes out, if I don't give you the actual, so what am I transferring? I'm writing a document that to transfer the loan document. But the loan document's a document. It's not karka. It's not fixed property. So therefore you need two things. I need to give you the document, in addition to reveal my intent through the document. That I'm giving you the document, not only the paper, but what's written in the document. It's difficult. No, what's the difficulty? So let the person say in front of Adim. And what witnesses? When I give you the piece of paper, I declare in the presence of witnesses that I'm not giving you just the paper, I'm giving you what the paper represents. The full right to be able to collect the debt. Right? So there's no question what his intent is. The person can't say, well, I only meant to give you the paper, not what the paper represents. Okay? Let's leave it at just now. What? Evident, but according to the Chacham, it's not. The Chacham say you have to write that document. Without writing a document, unless you say, maybe the Chacham would agree, but then what do you have to write a document? You have to go to the expense and to the bother of writing a document. Just make a declaration. We'll see in a moment.
This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, which means that the person who printed this thing is saying you can use this. It's not just the paper. You're not just valuing the paper. It is legal tender.
See, today,
He wrote that in
wait 1 second. Today, maybe, see, at one time it was a silver certificate. It said on it, silver certificate. So there, that was clearly a star. It was a document. It gave you the right to collect. Today, there's no silver backing the currency any longer. So today, maybe things have changed. I differentiate between then and today. Right? It says the bearer of the note has the right to collect. That was those were the silver certificates. No, it doesn't say that. This doesn't say that. You have the right to collect nothing. It's legal tender.
legal tender.
That means it's like a silver coin. Even though it's not backed by anything. It's because the market will bear what's printed on that. That's what I'm saying. Today's, that's what I'm saying. It's better. That's exactly what I'm saying. At one time where it says it's only there was literally a shtar chov. The one who has that has the right to collect. He is the equivalent of a creditor. I could collect. So it was only representing the right. Today, it represents nothing. Its value is because the government, society, the government says this is legal tender. That's it. It itself is the equivalent of the silver coin. That's like kesef. So it's a question today. So today, could you do pidyon aben? Are you able to do pidyon aben with a $100 bill? Right? No. Today, maybe you don't need the silver. It's shava kesef. Today it would be shava kesef. At one time it wasn't shava kesef. Definitely. No, that's different. Well, it's the same thing. I mean, we're going to see in a moment the Kaddish B'Shtar Chov. The only reason the Gemara is going to say why it may not be good, either as we're saying, because I'm only giving you the paper, I never transferred the right to collect. When you deal with currency, that's not the case. Or the Gemara is going to have a question when I'm a Kaddish B'Shtar Chov Da'acherim, even when it's a third person, because factually, the debt is owed to who? Is owed to the original lender. What happens after you give the document to the third? Let's say you sell the document, even to a third party. The original creditor chooses to waive the loan. Is he able to waive the loan even after he sells the document? That's going to be a discussion next page. It's machlokus tanoim. Not shmuel. Right? Mochish rachov. Is it mochul or is it not mochul? Could the original creditor, could he waive the debt? After he sells the debt. I'm not saying he's doing something ethical, but because factually, who's the money owed to? The money is owed to him. Meaning like this. When the borrower borrowed, when he took that money, he becomes indebted to the lender. Now I sell the right. What's the right I'm selling? Factually, he only indebted himself to me. I say, you're the equivalent of me. But if I choose to waive the debt, the basis for the debt, there's no No, because he relied on the seller that he's not going to waive the debt. Right? But let's say factually he waives the debt. So that's going to be the discussion. The woman, when she receives such a document, although does she believe the husband will never do such a thing? So therefore it has value to her, or no? She's concerned, you never know. What happens if he chooses to waive the debt? So therefore she's not gomeres das. She doesn't have that full intent. She's willing to enter into this relationship. So, if I'm dealing with currency, on no circumstance, when you receive that document, nobody's waiving that debt. That gives you the right to collect, right? Whether it's whether it's the right to collect, it's a silver certificate or it's the currency today. That document is worth what it says it's worth. We're not concerned the government will discontinue the currency. Not the value, not the value.
$100 bill is no longer valid. We're printing new $100 bills, and the old ones.
I mean, the bill that you received. There's no such thing, right? Maybe if you live in a third world country, it's possible. You know, when things happen every other day, there's a new type of currency coming out, right? But if it's a stable society, you receive it. That's currency. That's shava kesef or kesef itself.
The loans are written to that. The lender is always putting into the document that the holder of the document has these rights, because that lender may want to sell that piece of paper. And if it is possible that the original lender may waive the debt, nobody's going to buy it.
Wait a second. Wait. So that's a dina malchus adina concept.
No, it's not.
No. If actually the borrower,
It's going to be in the agreement.
I understand that even if it's in the agreement, but let's say he violates the agreement and he waives the debt. What changes the reality?
The other doesn't have such a right.
But it is. It's a fact. No. Shtar chova is only a right of collection. It's a shibud. You're collecting, but whose shibud is it? The shibud is based on the shibud aguf, because you owe the money, therefore you have a right to collect. But if I waive the basis, factually he's only indebted to the lender. He's not indebted to the third party. When you sell the debt, what are you selling? You're selling the right to collect. That's what you're selling. But in terms of the original indebtedness, the indebtedness is to the lender. So if the basis for the debt is the indebtedness, if he waives that, there's no indebtedness any longer. We'll discuss this tomorrow. Okay, if you're here. Okay.